This was supposed to air in April as part of my Veda series, but I can't wait that long. I want to be a part of the conversation. Take 3, action. This is the third time I'm trying to film this. So Beyonce has done it again. She went ahead and during the Super Bowl yesterday announced the release of her the second part of her trilogy album.
Time for a surprise drop. Okay, they ready. Drop the new music.
Something that I noticed about this Super Bowl commercial was that obviously it is filmed horizontally, but you can fit it into a vertical frame for TikTok or YouTube Shorts, and Beyonce will still be in the frame. She's not going to be like cut out. And I think it's brilliant because, I mean, it is Beyonce. She pays attention to details, but also I feel like companies are just more tuned into people like posting stuff vertically, and so you're going to film your stuff that way as well. That's just what I think. Renaissance, so Act 1 obviously was house music. Act 2 looks like it's going to be country, no surprises there. Act 3, people are predicting that it's going to be rock and roll. And some people were saying like, Beyonce and country is not a combo that they predicted. But I mean, if you go back to her third album, I Am Sasha Fierce, she had 1 or 2 tracks on there that were country or like country leaning. So, I'm not really surprised. And she's from Texas. This is just something I thought about. Maybe there's nothing to it, but maybe this could explain why she's been so gracious to Taylor Swift all along. I mean, the whole thing that happened with Kanye.
So I'd like for Taylor to come out and have her moment.
Obviously, that was a decent thing for her to do, but I also wonder if she did that because, somewhere in the back of her head, she was thinking, one day I might want to collab with her on a country song. So, it's good to keep her in my good graces. So I always wonder about that. Anyway, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But yeah, that was a big surprise. I was gagging at that commercial, and I just think she's brilliant. We all know this. When you have been in this business for this long, you have to always keep it fresh. You have to reinvent yourself, especially if you're a woman. I think men can slide under the radar, but for women, you have to keep reinventing yourself. Be creative. You have to be strategic. Otherwise, people will lose interest really quickly. So in the middle of editing this very video you're watching, I decided to type in Texas Hold'em because I needed a picture of Beyonce for my thumbnail for this video. And what should pop up but a description for a poker game. Now, I don't know a whole lot about poker, but I do know one thing, and correct me if I'm wrong. Poker, much like chess, is a game in which you cannot let your opponent know your next move. And she's indirectly telling us that. Not only has she introduced a whole audience to poker, because I did not know what Texas Hold'em was until just now. So not only did she introduce a new audience to poker, she's also letting us know indirectly that, stop trying to guess, you will never figure it out. Did we know she was going to have a whole commercial in the Super Bowl announcing a new album? We did not. Did we know she was going to drop that album back in 2013? We did not. Did we know that she was going to turn this Renaissance World Tour into a movie? Did not. Did we know she was going to turn Lemonade into this thing on HBO, which, by the way, I still have not watched. Shame on me. We did not. Did we know she was going to, at least I didn't. Did we know she was going to have Black is King on Disney? We did not. So basically, she has landed deals with 3 of the major streaming services. Now that I think about it, HBO, she had Lemonade on there, Black is King with Disney Plus, and Coachella, I forget what it's called. Homecoming with Netflix. That's wild. She is business savvy and brilliant. That's all I have to say. I'm really blown away. So did she do all of this during the pandemic? I wonder if she was creating all of this while on lockdown. I'm going to assume if the album is being released this year, she's probably going to go on tour again. It would be nice because I have FOMO about missing the Renaissance Act 1 tour. So if she goes on tour again, I'm going to assume that, or I'm predicting that it's going to be towards the end of this year, 2024, or next year, 2025. And guess what? She's probably going to drop the third album, Act 3, in 2026. So yeah, she seems to have her work cut out for her. But yeah, I'm so here for it. And then Taylor Swift is also dropping a new album in April, so it's going to be a busy next couple of months for me because I'm going to be reviewing both albums. Yesterday was definitely very exciting. I'm not one to watch football. I'm not a football watcher. I don't watch football is what I'm trying to say. But I sat there and watched that Super Bowl from top to bottom, from 6:30 all the way till 11 when it went into overtime. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I feel like I'm gonna just make a tradition out of this. I went and got pizza with my mom. Well, we went and got pizza and brought it home, and we watched the thing together. So that was fun. Also, really quick, Texas Hold'em sounds very much like the Lumineers' Hey Ho from like 2013 or thereabouts. So it sounds more indie to me than it does country. To clarify, indie music means independent music. It's eclectic, has this DIY, unpolished feel to it, usually involves the guitar, and is generally country leaning. And as we know, Black artists help build the country genre. So again, I feel like she's reviving this genre from the 2010s. I have mentioned in my video before, I think it was the Olivia Rodrigo review of her second album, Guts. I mentioned how like I'm a sucker for indie music. I would go and sit down at Panera and they would always have that music playing, and it started to grow on me. The album is reminiscent of 2010s indie rock, and if you know me, you'll know that aside from pop, 90s and early 2000s R&B and rap, indie music has a very special place in my heart. For context, when I lived in Florida, on my days off, I would always go to the movies, or I would go to the Disney parks because we got in for free as cast members, or I would go to Panera Bread. I would go to Panera Bread with my laptop and sit there for hours, and they used to play lots of indie tracks on the radio that I grew to like. And so now when I hear the same music being played at my job, I get all warm and fuzzy inside. So back to Beyonce. So that sounds like it's going to be like a line dance because it's a part where she says something about down, 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 left, right, middle. So very much directional, very upbeat. 16 Carriages, on the other hand, is very simple song but carries a lot of weight. Is the lyrics for me. I feel like what she's describing is representing a lot of people here in the US, you know, have to work very hard, are overworked, underpaid sometimes, but they have to keep going. And it has a little bit of a rock and roll flair, low-key. So I really do like that one as well. I cannot wait for the 29th of March to hear what else she has in store for us. It is midnight. I should be in bed, but this whole thing got me awake. So I try not to watch any videos if I can help it when I'm going to review something of this sort. So i.e. the 2 tracks that Beyonce released. But I watched 2. I watched one from Impressive and another from Ostefco. I didn't realize we were going to be discussing the music. Anyways, Ostefco had mentioned something about the outfit that Beyonce wore to the Grammys, and that outfit should have been an indicator that there was new music coming. What a brilliant idea. I would go even further and say Beyonce's post, one of her posts on Instagram in that outfit, gave everything away, or was an indicator, I should say, especially this one, where she has her 2 fingers pointed out like a gun. It's very much Texas Hold'em, the visualizer. So that was a good indicator. And then even the hair, the platinum blonde, should have been a clue. And while we're talking about the Grammys, something also just occurred to me. Maybe her husband's speech was to draw attention to her, because while he was talking, they kept panning the camera back and forth to her and then back to him. You're very strategic. You're good business people, so it wouldn't surprise me that that was the plan, and that was the perfect opportunity while he was collecting his awards to mention that his wife had never gotten Album of the Year, and they knew the camera would pan to her.